Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another Cat Chat with Brad Wellborn. I am Brad, LC Sports Information Director, and we have Coach Reni Mason here to talk some men's basketball as the guys have finally played some home games, which is, I know, very exciting for Coach and the guys as well. And we'll get into all that in a second. But, Coach, and we haven't really talked about it since, I guess the streak was at 6 or 7 or whatever. But I feel like there has to be some sort of congratulations for a 10-game winning streak, the longest in LC NCAA history. I mean, it's been a great start to the season for you guys.
Very excited. I think it's speaks volumes to the young men that we're coaching right now. They've done a tremendous job of buying into a concept of defense first, and I think it served us well during this stretch of being able to win basketball games.
Yeah. So talking about our first home games this past week, Concordia and Mary Hardin Baylor, two very different games by a lot of stretches. And of course the game on Thursday, maybe one you obviously learn from, but and I was telling people after the game, like, that was not the LC men's basketball team that we'd seen in the first 11 games. It was just a kind of a anomaly, I think.
Well, sometimes your opponent dictates what happens. I think what's lost in that basketball game on Thursday night is we only scored 50 points. But they only scored 63.
Yeah.
And so we still were able to defend a team that averages over 90 points a game, but we weren't able to score. And that happens sometimes. I thought their pressure bothered us a little bit. And as I said in one of the media outlets on Thursday night, quite frankly, I thought they were tougher than we were. And I thought the toughest team won that night. It happens that way. The streak had to end at some point.
Right.
I think it allowed us to refocus. I think it allowed us to help our young people understand some of the things we dealt with early in the week in terms of preparing for that home game. So there's always some good to take out of everything. And so sometimes I think you win by subtraction, and I think learning how to win is a process.
Yeah. And, obviously with the Thursday-Saturday deal, it's a quick turnaround to try to get back where you want it to be and against a good Mary Hardin Baylor team. It was there for the first, 30 minutes of the game. We had a 20-point lead, and then things kind of slipped away, and then it got crazy. And then
once again, I think you learn by having to go through the experience. We'd had the opportunity to watch them play twice the week before. We knew they were a very athletic basketball team. We knew they were a very well-coached basketball team. We knew Mr. Moore for them was a very special basketball player. And I always tell our guys, peaks and valleys. There are going to be ebbs and flows in every basketball game. You don't want to lose a 20-point lead. Right. We did, and we still were able to find a way to win, and I think that speaks volumes of our young men once again. I thought we were the tougher of the teams in the overtimes, and I think that that's what propelled us to win the basketball game. Once again, there's always something to learn from that process. That's the fourth 15-plus lead that we've watched vanish during this season. So that's definitely something we need to work on as a basketball team in learning how to close games out, particularly against good basketball teams, because at some point, if you don't learn that, it'll catch you when you least expect it. But our guys have handled it well. There were tons of emotional plays during that game that we can learn from, but I thought we were pretty tough down the stretch, and I think our guys deserve to win that basketball game.
Yeah, I was talking to, I think it was KB and Jalen maybe after the game. They were like, they couldn't remember a time where they've been a part of a game that has crazy 3 overtimes like that. So, I mean, is that one that's going to stick out in your mind too for different reasons?
Definitely for different reasons, but it's probably one of the most exciting basketball games I've been a part of, where a group of young men had every opportunity to fold, and they didn't. And that speaks volumes of their character. It speaks volume of their belief system in one another. It speaks volumes of their trust of us as a coaching staff. And once again, I thought our guys did what it took to win a basketball game. I told them after the game, there are tons of things that I could point out that went wrong, but at the end of the day, they got it done. And that's why we tossed the basketball up. And so for us to be 5-1 right now, sitting atop of the ASC, for us to move to 11-2, I think it's a good place for us to be with the next couple games coming up.
Yeah. So Tyler and Ozarks this week on Thursday and Saturday at HO West. What can you tell us quickly about those two?
Tyler is a very athletic team. To give you an idea of their program, they are transitioning to Division II. they have a good basketball team. They've had some ups and downs this year, but they're a scary basketball team. They do some of the things that Mary Hardin Baylor does that will cause us some issues athletically. But I think as we prepare, as we go on, there are no new looks for us, and so it will cause us to have to definitely defend. We'll have to take good shots. We'll have to be more in tune to taking care of the basketball. I thought we turned it over a little bit too much last week. Those things are very important for us to be successful. We got to rebound and we got to defend and take care of the basketball. And so we'll look forward to that on Thursday. Then Ozarks comes in. Travis, which this is his second year there, their head coach. I think he's doing a tremendous job in trying to turn that program around. He will get basketball players there. He comes out of a great program in UT Dallas where they're accustomed to winning, and I'm sure he has the same expectations for his program, and so we'll have to come and be prepared for that also.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, like I said, Thursday night about 7:30 right after the women's game, and then Saturday afternoon about 3 right after the women's game. You see the guys in their next 2 home games, so make a point to be here. If you haven't seen them play in person yet, come check it out. It's a lot of fun, and you don't want to miss out on seeing them in action. Coach, thanks for coming by once again. We'll have Coach back on more regular schedule now that the holidays are over and school's back in and all that sort of stuff. So be on the lookout for more from Coach Mason and LC men's basketball. I'm Brad Welburn for Coach. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, B.